Hey everybody, welcome to another new episode of Fright Fridays. And today I am talking about Jaws Part 3. Jaws Part 3, also known as Jaws 3D. Now, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet because I thought this movie was not good. Yeah. It's weird. I don't remember watching it in the 80s. I did watch it about a year ago and I didn't mind it, but I rewatched it just recently and yeah, it didn't, I don't know. Does that ever happen to you where you like see a movie and you liked it and then you see it again and you're like, I don't know what. Anyway, Jaws 3D is a horror thriller from 1983. It was released in July of 1983 to be precise, so almost 40 years old. This is directed by somebody named Joe Alves. I think that's how I'm pronouncing it correctly. He was the production designer on Jaws 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. And he was also the production designer on Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Escape from New York, and Jaws 3, the movie we're talking about today, is the only film that he ever directed. I got this multi-pack set. I'm trying to get rid of that glare. This set has part 2, 3, and 4. I probably, in retrospect, probably should have just tried to find Jaws 2 on DVD or Blu-ray because I don't think I'm probably going to ever watch 3 or 4 again, but I'll save 4 for another special time. So, as I've done in the past, I just copied and pasted this synopsis from Google because I don't think I'm good at summing up plots, so bear with me. After a young great white shark finds its way into a sea-themed park, and this movie was filmed in part at SeaWorld in Orlando, Florida, managed by Calvin Bouchard, played by Louis Gossett Jr., workers then try to escape it. But the facility's attempt to keep the shark in captivity has dire consequences. A much larger mother shark appears in search of its offspring. Among those who she must battle the angry aquatic killing machine are marine biologist Catherine Morgan, played by Bess Armstrong, her co-worker Mike Brody, played by Dennis Quaid, and a pair of friendly dolphins. I thought the dolphins were really annoying. I don't, and even at the end, not to, I don't think I can spoil this. It's almost 40 years old. If you haven't seen it by now, but it's got this real awful cheesy ending with the dolphins is really groan worthy, honestly. The setup for the movie is very slow. Like in Jaws 1 and 2, I feel like you get right to the action. There's like shark action not too far from the beginning of the film. This one, it goes on and on and on. I think it's an hour and 39 minutes, and I think I checked the time on how long it had been on, and I think I was almost to the 39-minute mark, and there hadn't been any action, no sharks. It was just like Dennis Quaid and Leah Thompson just wandering around. I did forget to mention the cast beyond that. Leah Thompson is also in this, who you might remember from Some Kind of Wonderful. So yeah, and she's like a water skier for the park or something. I mean, honest to God, I was typing up my notes for this review while the movie was playing in the background. I was so bored, and the pacing of the film was so poor. I guess you can gather I wasn't a big fan of this, but anyway, this film was made in the 3D craze of the early 80s. You had like Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, Amityville 3D. I know there's some other ones I'm forgetting there, but this one came out in that kind of craze. So it was like the real popular thing to do, and so everybody was trying to jump on the bandwagon and make a 3D movie. This is now back in the days when you had to wear the glasses with one green lens and one red lens, and it really wasn't that good. I'm not a big fan of 3D anyway, but in the olden days, back in my day, um, that's what they had. So the film was originally pitched as a spoof movie. It was going to be originally the title for the film was Jaws 3 People Zero, and that was pitched by the producers of the first two movies. Surprisingly, Universal Studios did not like this spoof angle, and so the production was shut down. Um, and then obviously it got picked up again later on, but that initial idea for the film was shut down. Universal was like, no. I thought it was really funny that they asked Roy Scheider from the original two to come back, and he was like, I forget what he was quoted as saying, but he was like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, nothing in the world's going to get me there. And to avoid, because he was contractually committed to the second part, which I think he didn't want to do either. But in this case, he signed a contract to do the film Blue Thunder, the helicopter movie, and he did that purposely so that like there was no chance in hell that he was going to get signed on to do Jaws 3D. So I thought that was kind of funny. Dennis Quaid, one of the lead actors in the film, in a 2015 interview he came out and said like he was high on cocaine during the whole thing. Every scene in the film, he's high on cocaine. I think he hit it pretty well. I didn't really pick up on that vibe at all. I don't think anyway. I mean, I don't think he's not one of my favorite actors anyway, but he didn't come off as like high or anything, but apparently he was. So, I mean, maybe he's a good actor because he was able to pull it off without giving that away. This film was, like I mentioned, followed by 1987's Jaws 4. God, that glare is awful. Jaws 4, Jaws the Revenge. Yeah, I'm going to save that for another day. And this Jaws 3 got like real bad reviews. Like it did not do well. It did well financially. So on an $18 million budget, it brought in $88 million. But the critical response was dismal. It currently holds a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes. Funny enough, Jaws the Revenge, the fourth one, currently has a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. So if that gives you any kind of indication. So like a lot of the critics were saying the 3D was okay in the movie theater, like it wasn't great, but when it transferred over to home video and they presented it, and on television, cable television back in the 80s, they presented it as a 2D version, and the parts in the movie where you can tell it was 3D in the theater, they look so bad in this 2D version. I'm not even interested to see what it looks like in 3D. It's just really bad. So they felt like a lot of the critics thought that the movie lost whatever little edge it had when it got transferred to 2D. So I would agree with them wholeheartedly, and it just looks bizarre in 2D. Like those things where they're coming out at you, and it's like, but there's like black lines around whatever is supposed to be coming out at you. Even the shark at times has like a black outline around it, which I guess is part of the process of making a 3D movie in that old way, with the green and red glasses. But yeah, it looks very strange, almost surreal. But anyway, I can't give this movie more than a 1.5 out of 5. I just thought this was really bad. I don't think it had any redeeming qualities. There was a couple of scenes where they were in these like tubes underwater, that like the patrons of SeaWorld were in these tubes underwater, and they were supposed to be looking at the sea life swimming around them. And there was a couple of scenes where that was like okay, but I mean, that can't save the movie. And the acting, the script, it was just real bad. And you got to hold it against Jaws 1, like Jaws from 1975, and it's like one of the best movies. I mean, a lot of people consider that one of the best movies ever made. So to hold it against that, and even Jaws 2, which was an okay sequel. I mean, it wasn't brilliant by any means, but This is just like your B movie, straight to video schlock kind of thing. And it was real bad. So I was like, and I found it was very disjointed. Um, some of the shots were like almost comical, like I said, in the 3D. It just looked so bad. Near the end of the movie, there's a scene where the mother shark breaks through this pane of glass, and it is like so bad. I mean, if you look back on special effects in the early 80s, there were some movies that had great special effects. Like I'm thinking off the top of my head, Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. But when you look at this, it's like the special effects are so poor. So I could only say this. If you were having a Jaws marathon, if you were watching all four back to back on a rainy Saturday in the summer, maybe, I don't know. Maybe if you, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know about this film, people. It's really bad. It's just like not even mindless fun. It's just mindless. So I cannot recommend this movie. As far as physical media goes, it was released on standard 2D on DVD in 2003, and then in 2016 it got the Blu-ray treatment, and apparently on that edition there is a 3D version, I guess. So if you had like a 3D player and a 3D TV, I guess you could watch it that way. This edition, like I said, it's a 3-movie pack. It's part 2, 3, and 4. It's your real basic. Jaws 2 gets its own disc, but then Jaws 3 and 4 are on one disc. I will say the transfer is just awful. Like it's VHS quality. Maybe that's because of the 3D, the filming process of the 3D. I don't know. Like I did watch a bit of part 4 just to see, and part 4 looked much better. So I don't know if that's that. But anyway, so this is just like a very basic edition. Bonus features include only special features for Jaws 2. So the Jaws 3 and 4 disc does not have any special features. It doesn't even get artwork on the disc. It's just very bland. So yeah, I did watch Jaws 2 recently. I mean, maybe I'll save that for another day to do like a full unpacking of that film. I didn't mind that one quite as much as this one, but yeah, I can't recommend Jaws 3. Do not, I mean, unless, and I know there are fans of Jaws 3 and Jaws the Revenge, and so if you like them, cool. This is just my opinion. I am a huge fan of the first one, somewhat a fan of the second one, but then when I get down to here, it's like, I just can't do it. So let me know what your thoughts are on this film, if you've seen it. I didn't look to see where it's available. I think you can only rent it online, but it's a pretty common one in like dump bins at Walmart or thrift stores. You can see it sometimes. So if you did want to get a copy of it, I'm sure it's not too hard to find, and I'm sure this 3-pack is easy to find online as well. And somebody told me the reason they did this is because Jaws 1 is such traditionally a bestseller on physical media, so they just put these other 3 in this pack just to sell it. People, I guess, might be more inclined to buy all 3 or something. I don't know. I do have like the special edition DVD of the first one, and it's around this time of year. I guess like the July 4th weekend is coming up, so I think it's Jaws 1 takes place on the July 4th weekend, so it's probably a popular one for horror fans to watch around this time. I do like underwater movies and summer blockbusters, so again, like if you were just looking for some real cheesy fun, but not really fun, I guess Jaws 3D, or Jaws 3 as it's also known, might be your bag. But anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below if you've seen it, what your feelings are on the film. And if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. And I will see you next time. And until then, maybe I'll see you at the video store, even though video stores don't exist anymore. Not in my part of the world, anyway. Oh, funny story before I go. I did find a video store in my new hometown, and I forget what it's called, but it had video on the front of the store. And so I went in just to see, And at the back of the store is like this little mini video store, like still set up like old school video rental place. But the lights were all dimmed at the back of the store, and the guy said, "You can't rent the movies, you can't buy them. That area is closed off." So it was really creepy. I want to go back in and take a picture of it because they still had like the banners over the sections, like horror and sci-fi and stuff. I kind of like to take some pictures and post them because it's just like this weird relic that's just there. But anyway, that's it for my review. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you at the video store or the thrift store or wherever you tend to go. Peace.